Hello there my wonderful subscribers and viewers, welcome to the channel. My name is Anthony Larkin and here you will find me recounting near-death experiences or other spiritual encounters that individuals have had. Today's near-death experience comes from Jeff, who's 45 years old and lives in Manchester, England. But before we delve into Jeff's experience, I'd like to quickly put forward a question to you, and if you would be so kind as to put your answer in the comments below, I shall make sure that I read and reply to as many as I can. The question is fairly simple really. Do you believe in the afterlife? Do you believe that there is life that continues once our physical bodies are expired? Simple enough question. I'd just like to know exactly if you believe or not, or are you on a journey of self-discovery and have yet to make your mind up? Either way, please leave your comments below, and if you stick around to the very end of Jeff's experience, I will give you my answer, my take on what I believe in life after death. My name is Jeff and I am a 45-year-old man from Manchester in England, working as a sales executive for a manufacturing company for over a decade. I am well respected for my work and dedication, which keeps me busy, but the good news is I love my job and I find it fulfilling. I am also married to a beautiful lady called Joanna. She is a nurse and we have been happily married for 20 years. We have 2 children, a son and a daughter, and we live in a suburban house in a quiet neighbourhood. My typical day starts early in the morning. I have breakfast with my family before heading off to work. Most of the day is spent on the phone or in meetings, trying to close deals and increase sales for the company that I work for. After work, I usually go for a run or head out on my motorbike to clear my head. I had always been a skeptic when it came to the afterlife. I used to believe that when people died, they simply ceased to exist, and that there was nothing beyond this life. However, my views on death and the afterlife were challenged when I lost both of my parents. My father had passed away suddenly from a heart attack, and my mother had died a few years later after a long battle with cancer. Both of their deaths had a profound impact on me, and I did struggle to come to terms with their passing. Since their passing, I have been filled with grief and anger, and I felt that the world was a cruel and meaningless place. As I rode my motorcycle one evening on the open roads after work, I felt the wind rushing past and the freedom that comes with riding. However, on this particular day in January 2018, something went terribly wrong and I lost control of my bike, causing me to crash. The injuries sustained were extensive. I had broken bones, bruises and other injuries that required extensive medical treatment. I had always been in good health before the accident, with no major health concerns or issues. So, there I am, riding my bike, with the wind blowing the cobwebs of the day away, and the next thing I knew, I was floating above my body, watching the scene below from a distance. It was as if I popped out of my body the microsecond the accident began, and I saw myself falling off the bike and rolling, my legs and arms bending in ways that they shouldn't. I knew my body was in bad shape. Surprisingly, I didn't feel scared, and I wasn't in any pain. Instead, I felt weightless and free, as if I was a spirit untethered from my physical body. As I looked down, a sense of peace and calm washed over me. It seemed to happen so fast, and at the same time, it was like watching it all in slow motion. I can't quite describe it, but it felt like time didn't matter. It felt like time was not real. As I lay there on the floor, but also hovering above my body. After my motorcycle accident, I couldn't believe what was happening. It was as if I was watching a scene from a movie, but I was the main character. So there I am, looking down at my body, when I noticed a bright light appearing in front of me. The light was warm and inviting, and I felt drawn towards it. As I approached by simply moving forward, at this point I didn't know if I had arms or legs. I was just. Anyway, I saw a figure standing at the center of this light, dressed in white robes and surrounded by a soft glow. Though I couldn't see their face clearly, I sensed a strong feeling of love and compassion emanating from them. I realized that I was standing in the presence of something divine, and my soul was filled with an overwhelming sense of peace and love. The figure spoke to me, but their words were not spoken in any language that I understand now, at least. Yet I could understand them then, clearly in my mind. No words were used from our mouths. I could just understand. As this light enveloped me, I felt a sense of peace and warmth that I'd never felt before. I had never ever experienced anything like it. The light being took me on a journey through a beautiful otherworldly place that seemed to transcend space and time, starting with a tunnel. As I entered the tunnel, I felt this sense of peace and calm wash over me all over again. The walls of the tunnel were made of soft, glowing light, and I felt it as I was embraced by it. As I walked or floated or simply moved further towards the light became brighter, and I could feel myself being pulled towards it. It was not painful in any way. It was like staring into the sun, but without any discomfort. I felt as if I was being bathed in this light. I was overwhelmed by the sense of love and compassion. As I followed the being of light through this tunnel, I could sense that we were moving towards something significant. When we emerged from the tunnel, I found myself in a beautiful garden filled with flowers and trees of every color and shape. The air was so fresh, and the sky was a beautiful shade of blue, one that I have never seen before, so vivid I can hardly describe it in English words. I saw landscapes and colors that I had never seen before, and the light showed me that everything was connected and that there was a higher purpose to everything. As I traveled further, I came across beings that emanated love and warmth, and I felt a sense of deep connection with them. In the distance, I saw two figures walking towards us, and as they got closer, I could see that they were my parents. I was shocked and overwhelmed with emotion at the sight of my mum and dad. I hadn't seen them in many years, and I missed them dearly. The light being introduced me to my parents, and they embraced me warmly. I felt an overwhelming sense of love and joy as I hugged my parents again. It was as if all the pain and grief I had been carrying for years just melted away in that moment. As we walked through the garden, my parents showed me different parts of the garden that they had created together. They talked about their life and all the beautiful memories that they shared. I was amazed by how vibrant and alive my parents seemed, and I realized that they never really left me. As we walked, I noticed that my parents had a radiant glow about them, and I realized that they were no longer bound by the limitations of their physical bodies. They were free and whole, and they had transcended to this beautiful, physical world. It felt physical to me. I was overwhelmed by the experience, to say the very least, and I felt a sense of peace and contentment that I had never felt before. I realized that my parents were still with me and that death was not the end. It was a powerful realization that has stayed with me long after my near-death experience had ended. "Mum, Dad," I said, "I can't believe it's you. I've missed you so much." "We've missed you too, Jeff," my mum said as she wrapped her arms around me. "It's good to see you," my dad said. He had a wide grin on his face. I felt a sense of peace and joy wash over me again. I've got so many questions I want to ask, but I just didn't know where to start. Firstly, I said, "What's it like here? Are you okay?" "It's more beautiful than we could ever describe," my mum said. "Everything is filled with love and light." I just don't know how I was talking, but I was. I weren't using my mouth, or there was no voice coming out of my lips, but I must have been talking with my mind. I said to my mum and dad, "I've been so lost since you both died," and my dad replied, "We know, son, but we want you to know that we've always been with you, even when you couldn't see us, and we're so proud of the person you've become." As we continued to talk and laugh and hug and smile at each other, the light being came closer to me and said, "It's time, come with me." My mum and dad gave me a nod as if it was okay to go. As we continued to travel, the light being slowed down, as so did I, and then all of a sudden, the light being showed me a vision of my entire life. I saw everything I had ever done, every moment of joy, sadness, love, and anger. I saw how my actions affected others and how every choice I made created ripples in the world around me. I was overwhelmed with emotion as I watched my life play out before me. I saw the moments when I had been selfish or unkind, and the moments when I had also brought joy and happiness to others. I felt a deep sense of regret for some of the actions, but I also felt a sense of pride for the good that I had done. Throughout of this, I never felt judged. I just simply felt that I was being shown that all of my actions have implications that can affect other people, including myself. The light being then spoke to me again, telling me that every moment of my life had been a gift and that I was loved unconditionally. The light showed me that my experiences, both good and bad, had helped me to grow and learn. I realized that this life had a purpose and that I had been given the greatest opportunity to make a difference in the world. As the visions came to an end, the light told me that I still had much to learn and that I had to make some positive changes in the world. The light being told me that it was not my time to leave the physical world and that I still had work to do on earth. I felt relieved and grateful to be given another chance. I knew that I had to make some changes in my life and to make a positive impact on those around me. When I returned to the physical world, I felt like I was a changed man. I had a new appreciation for the people around me, and I felt a deep sense of gratitude for the second chance that I had been given. I knew that I had a responsibility to use this experience to help others and to make the world a better place. The life review that I had showed me that every moment of my life was important and that I had the power to create positive change in the world. And from that day forward, I have lived life with purpose and intention, and I always remember the lessons that I learned in that otherworldly place. After my near-death experience, my views on spirituality and the afterlife have been transformed. I was no longer a skeptic, but rather a believer in the existence of a higher power and the idea of the afterlife. However, my newfound beliefs did not necessarily lead me to become religious or to read the Bible. Instead, I found that my experience gave me a deeper appreciation for the beauty and the interconnectedness of the world. I began to see life in a new light and to cherish each moment that I have with my loved ones. I also found that I have a greater sense of compassion and empathy for others, and I've become more active in my community, volunteering and helping those in need. While I did not necessarily become religious or adopt a specific faith, my near-death experience has profound impact on my spirituality and my personal growth. The experience of traveling through the different worlds during my near-death experience are difficult to describe, as it was really difficult to articulate some of the worlds, the colours, the feelings and everything that went with the experience. But this next set of experience was really easy to describe because I was awake. I was in my physical body when this next experience happened. When I woke up in hospital, I realised the extent of my injuries. I'd had 2 broken legs, a broken hip, and I knew that I faced a long and difficult road to recovery. I felt overwhelmed and afraid. During my recovery, the light being visited me again, the same being that came to me during my near-death experience. The light being would appear to me in moments of darkness and doubt, offering words of encouragement and hope. On the first visit after my accident, the light being appeared to me as I was lying on my hospital bed. I was feeling frustrated and discouraged, wondering how I would ever recover from such serious injuries, and as I laid there, I saw a warm golden light begin to fill the room. The light being appeared before me, and instantly I felt a deep sense of love and comfort wash over me. The light being spoke to me in a gentle voice. Again, the light being did not use any form of vocal cords. The being spoke to me in a gentle voice, reminding me that I was not alone and that I was loved and supported by a higher power. The being showed me visions of the beauty and wonder that I saw in my near-death experience, reminding me of the incredible journey that I had been on. The being also encouraged me to have faith in myself and in the power of love, reminding me that I was strong and capable of overcoming any obstacle. After the visit from the being of light, I felt an instant sense of hope and purpose. I knew that I did face a difficult road to recovery, but I felt a sense of inner strength and resilience that I'd never experienced before. I was filled with a sense of gratitude for the experience that I had had during my near-death experience, and I knew that I had been given a powerful gift of spiritual awakening. The being continued to visit up to 3, maybe 4 more times, offering words of comfort and encouragement. On the day of my discharge from hospital, I awoke to find the being of light standing at the foot of my bed. The being appeared as radiant and as golden as ever, surrounded by a warm and comforting light. I felt the sense of peace and joy again wash over me as he gazed upon me. The being spoke to me in a gentle, reassuring voice, telling me that my time of healing was not over, but I was on the right path. He reminded me of the power of love and encouraged me to continue to focus on my own spiritual growth and development. Then the being uttered words that left me astounded. You are not just healing your physical body, you are healing your soul. You have been given a second chance to live your life in a way that honors your highest self. Do not waste this opportunity. I was deeply moved by these words, and I felt a sense of profound gratitude and wonder. I knew that the being had given me a powerful message, one that would stay with me for the rest of my life. After the accident, I began to reevaluate my priorities and decided to focus more on my family, health, and spiritual well-being. The near-death experience made me realize that life is fragile and precious, and I needed to make the most of it. This new outlook on life transformed me in ways that I could never imagine. I became more grateful for the people in my life, and I began to prioritize my well-being, both physically and mentally. The accident may have been a painful experience, but it was also a powerful reminder to cherish every moment and make the most of my life. Well, that concludes Jeff's fascinating near-death experience, and I'm blown away with it, if I'm honest. I think it's just beautiful. And getting back to the original question that I asked you all at the very beginning of this video, do you believe in life after death? Do you believe that there is a life after this physical body is deceased? And if I ask myself that question, I believe, but I don't know. So because I don't know, it's because I have never experienced a near-death experience, so I do not know. But I believe, and to believe is to have faith. What does belief mean? Well, belief is an acceptance that something exists or is true, especially one without proof. So there you have it. I have a belief in life after death. So I'm going to wrap this video up right now, my friends. So I'd like to say thank you so much for tuning in and going along this journey with me as we grow this channel. If you haven't already, I really would appreciate a thumbs up or perhaps a subscribe, or even just a nice comment in the comments below, just to let me know if you have enjoyed this narration. And so this is Anthony Larkin signing off. Until the next time, God bless.